All right, let's rock and roll. Here we go. It's so good to be with you all. And just loading in here, BJ, so I can see his face. All right. There we go. Hey, BJ, how are you today?
Doing good. How about yourself?
Hey, I'm doing great. Great to see you, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I haven't been able to get to see you guys for a bit just because of everything that's been going on with this wonderful concussion that I decided to get. I haven't been down to California for about a month or so, a little over a month. So, but I
Oh
hear you
God.
tearing it up, man. I was texting back and forth with Aaron Mailer, and I
Uh-huh.
thought that this would be a fitting way to start our day. And I had
hmm
pulled this up, so let me just get to it here.
hmm
Aaron Mailer is your coach with
Yeah.
ESS, and I love the fact of what she said. She said, I am so excited that you're interviewing BJ tomorrow morning. He is killing it. He is going to be one of the top producers very soon, and his ability, his drive, and his ability to run a team is unquestionable. He is driven. He'll need to have help building his team and all the business that he produces. I thought, well, that's a pretty good start.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. All
Yeah.
right, man.
That's
So
exciting.
share this with us. Let's just start with just tell us a little bit about who you are. I would rather not read a bio. I would
Yeah.
rather hear just a little bit of your history. I know that you have a military background and things of that sort,
Yeah.
but give us just a little bit of just who is BJ?
So, where do I start? It was me and my sister. My mom worked in the commissary, so we didn't really have our dad in our lives. So my mom, we were living in Orange County for a little bit when we were younger, and then probably we transitioned into, I don't know if you guys know China Lake at all. It's up in the desert by Palmdale, Lancaster area. So we
Yeah.
lived there for a little bit, and then she finally got stationed over to Point Nemi and Point Magoo, and we stayed in Oxnard ever since. So it's pretty much been me and my sister. I went to Santa Barbara City College. I've been in sales my whole life. I coached basketball, so that was like one of my passions that I love to do. But for the most part, like, taking care of my sister, taking care of my mom, that's pretty much, in my early 20s. And then I'll probably say my late 20s, my late 20s when I had my first child. So I was a single dad, raised my daughter by myself, her mom was never around. So like for me, that was like, I won't say a challenge, but like it was something that, I've always want to take care of my kids. So, I
That's
mean,
awesome.
yeah, so pretty much, I mean, you get this. So like I'm always energetic, I'm always driven. So like I've
Oh, I
always
remember the first time I met you, man. You got enough energy to light up a whole city, man.
exactly, and I try not to deteriorate from what I want. If I'm clear on what I want, I know it's gonna be a challenge, but I look at the journey rather than the end goal, you know.
So how long have you now been in real estate?
So I got in real estate last year. I was actually at Berkshire Hathaway for maybe a couple months. And then the interesting part was I was there for maybe a couple months, and then I was speaking to a friend of mine because I didn't know what the heck I was doing. And so like I called him up, and it just so happens that he was actually with John Syed at another office talking, and he was like, you know what? I was just talking to you about John, and I'm like, wait, what? And he was like, yeah, you should meet with them. I'm like, well, let's go, because I'm like hungry. I'm trying to figure this stuff out. And so I meet with John, and oh my gosh, that conversation that we had, I'm like, okay, I need to be here, like resonated with me. So I'm like, oh man, all right. So transitioned over here, and ever since then, like I'm truly grateful of what Century 21 Everest brings. Like if people realize, like, and I don't know who, I was speaking to a few of our colleagues up in the office, and I tell them all the time, like, this office is more self-development than anything. This will really bring out who you are and like who do you want to be. Because I've
Yeah.
grown since I've been here, like tremendously. I'm so
What?
appreciative, so grateful.
Well, thank you. You're an amazing example. I mean, your perseverance, your dedication. In fact, that's why I want to jump right into that. So tell us just a little bit about what a day looks like for you. Talk to us a little bit specifically about prospecting, what you're doing, how you're contacting people, how you're talking to people. And I mean, look, you're there right in the heart of California, right? And
Yeah.
you're dealing with the highs and the lows, the good and the bad.
Yeah.
You're dealing with the challenges of not necessarily the market itself, because the
Yeah.
market in so many words is strong, but you're
Yeah.
dealing, of course, with a lot of bureaucracy. You know, you and I have had a handful of different conversations in regards to just even the things that are going on, right? From the
Yeah.
chaos, from the Black Lives Matter to
Mm-hmm.
everything else. And I still
Oh yeah.
remember, I think it would be a fitting thing. I just would love to get your take, your perspective. Uh, I remember what you said to me, but I don't want to say that yet. When we were
Mm-hmm.
talking about just all the civil unrest and all the challenges that are going on,
Yeah.
but kind of give your perspective of just what's going on, and then we'll also get into a little bit of your schedule and what's happening too.
So again, like for me, like I try to not be I try to focus on what I need to do. So like when I have a clear goal of what I want, like I'm more driven to follow that path. So like every morning, like I don't know if people know, like I'm a single dad. I have 3 kids. So like I have to take care of them. My kids are 2, 3, and 11. So like every morning I get up at 5 o'clock, regardless. 5 o'clock I get up every morning. I read. One of the things I did incorporate that I never did was read. And that is so powerful for me. Like I read all the time. I read when I wake up. I read when I go to the office. You know, I like to read now. So like I set goals of how many books I want to read. And I actually accomplished that within a month, believe it or not. So like, you know, I read
Awesome.
and then in our office we started incorporating role playing, which is really good. Luis has like been amazing. He's been such a tremendous like influence in my life. So we role play from 8:30 to 9.
And Luis is one of our newest managers slash gentlemen on our leadership team in California.
Yeah, so like did a really good job of doing some role playing, but then from like 9 to 11, like I'm on the phones. And I tell people like in our office, like, you know, I mean, this business, it's only tough if you want to make it tough, you know, and that's my perception of it. You know, I get on the phones, I dial, I'll dial, I'll dial. I usually don't leave until I get at least one appointment. And then I think my breakthrough, and I kid you not, it happens every single time. The minute that you feel like you want to quit, like there's so many times where you're like, oh, I'm not getting nobody. Oh, I'm getting the wrong number. Oh, I'm getting this. The minute you decide you quit, that's when you don't give up. Because literally the next time, the next call, it's like, oh, wow, I got an appointment. And I go again, then I get another appointment. And I'm like, oh, gotta keep push through it, push through it, push through it, push through it, you know? And I'm learning how to go on appointments on my own, you know? So like I'm doing this on my own. I'm learning and I'm growing as I'm doing all this stuff. And to me, it's just like, you know what? Just focus on what you want. Everything else is gonna come to place, but just focus on what you want and what you want to achieve. And like I feel
Well,
like
that go, if I can just interject here, is that goes in alignment with when you and I were visiting. I think it was maybe a month or two ago, and you
mm-hmm,
and I were on the phone together. And when we were visiting, we were talking. I said, "Hey, how are you dealing with everything that's going on? I mean, there's a lot of distraction out there, right? I mean, from
yes,
the people's color of their skin to you
yes,
name it, right? And I
yeah,
still, you may not remember this, maybe you do, you probably do, but I was so impressed by your statement. That's why I wanted to bring this up, and that is that I said, well, how are you dealing with all that distraction? You said, and you've elaborated on this, and you said, I don't have time for that crap.
yeah,
I remember you said, of course I've had moments where I have been you know, hurt by different things, but you said I've
mm-hmm,
got a job to do and I have to take care of my family, I need to
yeah,
take care of my kids, and I need to make a living. And I thought, man, how profound it was that you basically you put on the blinders and you said, you know what? Although there's all this crazy stuff that is happening, some good, some of course not good,
yeah,
is that you were, and you've said it already, how focused you are on your desire and your drive to go after what you want.
yeah,
And
no,
I
that's true.
hope that people are hearing that, because that is a huge deal, man. Is
Yeah,
that if people, when people start making stupid decisions, is when
mm-hmm,
they forget where they're going. That's
yeah,
the facts. I mean,
yeah,
I talk about this all the time about my kids. If you forget where you're going, you're going to make dumb decisions. You're going to take
yeah,
dumb actions. You're going to think dumb things. You're going to do dumb things. And so I just love the fact that you have said it probably 3 or 4 times just on this first 10 minutes of this call.
Yeah.
Got to know what I want. Got to know where you're going.
Yeah.
And I love the fact of the fact that you're doing that. So truly, man, it's an inspiration to me to watch the way that you are moving through your life is
Yeah.
pretty extraordinary, because I know you've had a lot of blows come at you.
Oh, no, oh, definitely. Like, I mean, some of you guys know, like, I was in the time period, before COVID hit, like, I had a hard time making my rents. You know, like, people know, like, I'm not the person to shy away. Like, I'm in front. Like, this is who I am, you know? Like, you know, when this whole Black Lives Matter things, you know, I was getting hit up all the time, like, all the time. But I'm like, you know what? I can't focus on that. Like, I don't have time to be focusing on that. That's not going to do me any good. It's not going to make me, how's that going to make me any better? You know, like that, those are just distractions that I know I could avoid. You know, I don't have time when people tell me, well, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about that? Or, you know, well, you should go to this rally. I'm like, it doesn't do me any good. You know, what does me good is like taking care of my family, you know, like, having the freedom to do what I want. You know, like, to me, those are the things that brings positivity in my life. You know, I only like people, I only surround myself with people that are like-minded with me, you know, and our office is, oh my God, our office is like rocking right now. Like, I love our office. Like, I surround my people with people in our office. Like, it's just insane. Like Amelia, you know, Jesus, like everybody, like, they're all wonderful people, you know, and I choose to surround myself with those type of people, you know, and not people that, you know, and I get hit up by people that I've known since high school talking about, oh, you should do this, or you should, and I'm like, I can't do that, you know, because then I start going a path where I don't want to go, you know, and this business is already like it's literally a full-time job. Like, you got to be directed, like, you got to focus on what you want in this business, because I tell you what, I've seen where people don't even go on phone calls. They're too nervous to dial a number, just a simple number. They're too nervous to get a no, you know? And to me, it's like, I'm not focused on that. My focus is, you know, winning, because I really want to be a top agent here, you know?
So oh my gosh, you have said so many powerful things. It's like, I just want to slow down for a second. Like, let me just ask you this. You like people not prospecting, which you can't, I can tell you can't even comprehend. People who are not, you know, talking to people you can't comprehend. You said it again, man, going after what you want. You want your freedom. You want what you want. You want to become a top agent. You want to become wealthy. I mean, but so you said one thing. How are you dealing with all of the rejection? I mean, how many contacts are you making a day?
Oh gosh, on average, my goal every day is to make 30 contacts.
Okay,
And on
so
average, I make about 25 to 28 contacts.
perfect, awesome, love it. Get 30.
Yeah.
That's my advice.
Yeah.
And once you get 30, get 35.
Exactly.
But how are you dealing with that much rejection? Because when I first met you, dude, you were knocking doors.
Yeah.
You were doing everything, and I mean, fair to say there was massive amounts of rejection.
Oh yeah.
And you know, I can tell you're a pretty assertive guy. So yeah,
Yeah.
maybe a little bit of fear was there, but
Yeah.
day in and day out, staying consistent, saying, man, I'm going to figure this out. How are you dealing with it? How have you dealt with it?
Well, I think what it is that if I know what I want and I'm passionate about what I want, those no's for me, it doesn't bother me. I think if I didn't have a clear-cut goal of what I want in life, I think it will have some type of, I think it will bother me a little bit more. But if I know what I want and I believe in myself, those no's for me, like, I mean, I'll be honest, a lot of those no's at the end of the conversation end up being yeses. You know, I got cursed out. Like, I love calling forced outers. You know, I love calling expires. Like, they'll cuss me out on the phone. Like, I don't focus on that.
So
You
you're not
know,
taking, there's no you don't take any of it
I don't think,
personal.
yeah, I don't take anything. No, I don't take nothing personal, because I know what I like. I think, and it also goes back to me being an athlete too. You know, I think a huge part of, you know, being a competitor, like, I just don't give up, you know, and like, for me, like, if I don't, you know, focus on always no's, or hang up. If I start focusing on that, then I'll just put myself down, you know? And like, I know in this business or any other business, you're going to fail more times than you're going to succeed. I take the baseball analogy, like a good hit is like 2 out of 10 times, like you're going to fail more
Oh,
than you're going to
you're going to
succeed.
be a multimillionaire if you can hit the ball 3 out of 10 times.
Exactly.
Multimillionaire.
Yeah, exactly. But some people don't even want to go up to the plate. They're too afraid to even step up to the plate and bat, So like I take the nose, like, and I get the calls that hung up, like hello, click, but I just keep moving. I keep moving because there's goals that I want to hit. I'm telling you, like,
your
it's a big deal.
resilience is impressive, and I love the light and the energy that you bring to what you're talking about.
Thanks, I
Look,
appreciate
you and I both know, you have to know this by now. Most people, you bring up the word like for sale by owner, and it's like a 4-letter word.
Yeah.
You say expireds, and people shudder at the idea as a general statement as to
Yes.
whether would they even consider doing something like that. And
Yeah.
I love the fact that your language, the words that you speak out loud, instead of what I hear people say is, I hate this or I can't do that. Your words, I
Yeah.
hope everyone heard it. You said, I love
Yeah.
prospecting for sell by owners. I
Yeah.
love calling expireds.
It's a
You didn't
huge
say I
difference.
hate it, I struggle with it, but I still do it. Your
Yeah.
language is matching what you're doing, and even if you didn't initially love it, you've convinced yourself unquestionably by the language that you're using that you
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think what it also, once you start getting used to our phone, it becomes easier. It's so much easier. And I see agents that are still having trouble like picking up the phone. I'm like, you just pick up the phone, you just know you're gonna get yelled at. Just know you're gonna get attacked. If you already know that, because we're all human, you just got to move forward. And honestly, it's become so much easier calling expires. Like I'm gonna list a property next week from an expired that he got so upset, and it's like there's reasons why they're upset. They're not upset with you. There's reasons why. So like you don't take it personally. I don't take it personally. My goal is to try to help you. And if I put that attention to try to help you, it makes it so much easier. And I think that's why I resonate with a lot of people, and like I connect with a lot of people,
Love it,
because I don't
man.
take the notes
Well,
personally at
there's
all.
no question that your sincerity and your vulnerability and your authenticity is a key component. And I've said this, man. You know this. You can practice all the scripts and dialogues
Mm-hmm.
known to mankind, and yet that doesn't fix the fact if someone isn't, in so many words, a good person. You have
Yeah.
sometimes get a little more assertive and say, scripts don't fix if you're a jackass.
Yeah.
If you're a jackass, the scripts don't fix that. Meaning that
Exactly.
if you don't bring your love, your concern, your care, and
Mm-hmm.
your authenticity, your vulnerability to the equation. So let
Yeah.
me ask you a question. Why are you so open? Why are you so uh, what's happened for you that you are so authentic, so real, so forthright? I mean, I have felt connected to you, BJ, since literally at the first summit that I met you, and
Mm-hmm.
to where I could call you anytime. You can call me. You know that. You can
Yeah.
call me
Yeah.
anytime. And
Yeah.
there's 1,000 agents in this company, and I have this deep connection with you, and yet I've hardly known you. Where did you get that? How did you figure out to be vulnerable, to be open, to give people a chance, to let them into your world, if that makes sense?
You know what? I will have to say, I think it started in my childhood. Like my dad was never around, and I have probably, gosh, I can't even tell you how many siblings I have that I don't even know that my dad had with other women. But like by experiencing stuff, like we all have different experiences. So like my dad was never around, Hey, you guys don't know, but like I witnessed physical abuse with my dad, with my mom, and like I witnessed some other things. So when I used to see that stuff growing up, I already made a choice in my life that, what, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be like that, And so like for me, I feel like, if I'm who I am, like you're always going to get, this is me, you're always going to get this, like just from based off all my experience that I've had with friends, family. I don't, what's the best word I want to use? Like, I don't want to say like this, like the people I wrote that Century 21, they are so amazing. Like I can't even like fathom like how amazing they are. And like I've always like, if anybody knows who I am, I'm always going to be real with you. I'm always going to be straight up with you, but I'm always going to be sincere. I'm always going to be kind. And it's just because of my background. Like I've been through tough situations. And I've noticed that no matter what happens, you're always going to go through tough situations, you know? And so what am I going to do? Dwell and be a prick and, you know, do all this stuff? Or am I going to, you know, okay, well, we all go through stuff. Let me help somebody, you know, let me take care of somebody, you know?
So
My,
what I'm hearing, BJ, is that even in your most difficult moments, right? I mean, you've talked about the abuse, your father not being around, obviously, I presume not a real lucrative upbringing in regards to
yeah,
economics,
exactly.
based on everything you've shared. So, you know, what I hear is a absolute conscious decision that although all of the negative, the bad things, the reasons that could be so justified for you to be very dark and heavy, and down and out and closed off to the world, you've really made a conscious decision that that is not who you're going to be, that you're going to
Exactly.
bring your joy, your openness, your heart, your soul to the world. I mean, it's
Yeah,
evident. I mean, and here's what's so funny is that that is more, I hope people hear, that is so much more important than any script or dialogue you will ever use. Now you match what you're doing with a great script, you're going to hit home runs every day.
oh
I mean, it's
yeah,
going to
oh
be
yeah,
grand slams all over the place.
oh yeah,
So I love it.
yeah.
So tell me this: what advice would you give to someone who just seems to be that they can't get out of their own way? They're maybe a little bit in a funk. They're struggling, and even with the market the way that it is, and that it's on fire and raging. What would you say to someone who is really struggling today, and just whether it's even an experienced agent,
Yeah.
whether it's a new agent who just seems to be stuck? What
hmm
advice would you give them?
The first thing I would say is, you know, try to figure out who you want to be. I think that's the main thing. Like figure out like who you want to be, who you are. You know, because once you figure out who you are and what you want to become, like truly figure out, like, because people sit there, and I've heard it, people sit there and talk about, well, you know, I want to do this, I want to have this many deals, I want to have this, you know, but it's very rare when I hear people talk about like who they are, like, who do you want, like, who are you know, who do you want to become? And I think that's where a lot of people struggle, is trying to figure out who they want to become, because I already know what I want to become. And that made it so much clearer, because all those distractions that are in my life, I don't focus on those. I don't focus on, because I figure out who I want to become, and I try to surround myself with those people. I mean, we had the talk when we were doing the coaching, when you offered the coaching for me, you know, and no money, you know, I'm like, no, I got to do this. I want to do this. Whether I have no money, I'm going to figure this out, because I know what I want. I have a clear-cut goal. You know, I know who I am. So I think for any new agent or seasoned agent, it's just, even seasoned agent, if you like forget like what do you want to do, or you know, if you're stagnant, just go back to your inner self. That's what I would probably say. Figure out like, who do you want to become? You know, what gets you up in the morning? You know, and I think that's where a lot of agents tend to like drift apart and like try to be the norm, or try to get out of the way how to make a phone call, you know, because they don't
Right.
really figure out who they want to be.
Well,
So
they
I'll
can't. Yeah,
probably say that'd be
they can't connect the dots, right?
exactly,
and
exactly.
and you start looking at that, and you start looking at this perspective of, and by the way, I need to have you just do the summit, because I mean, you sound just like me. I'm rubbing off on you,
Yeah,
BJ,
you are.
because you know what, I say this, I have very little concern as to how much an individual earns. What I'm
Yeah.
more concerned is that who they have to become to earn
Oh
the amount
yeah.
of money they want to earn,
Oh
right?
yeah. Yeah.
So all of a
Yeah.
sudden we'll say, I mean, just is for this group, that if you guys, as you're going through this, is that, look, set the goal. But
hmm
then, to your point, BJ, what I found in my life, this is just what's worked for me. It may be different for others, but what I have found is set the goal. Let's just say
hmm
I want to earn this amount of money, or I want to have this many transactions. Now, the
Yeah.
next most important question, I believe, is now, who must I become
Exactly.
to earn that money? Who must I
Exactly.
become to do those deals?
Yeah.
Because that
Exactly.
becoming will be the greater reward than anything you will ever receive economically. And that is a fact. And it will have a legacy play, it has an
hmm
eternal play. it is a beautiful play if we can play that game in the right way.
Oh yeah, and I am 100% agree. And for me, I think, you know, yeah, deals and all this stuff is great because it gives you freedom, but internally, I become a better person. Like even being with Century 21, like I've become a better person, you know? So I'm like, wow, the deals are gonna come, but like how much growth have I come internally, like myself, you know? And that's huge. That's so huge. That's value that I can't even put money on, you know, like myself. Like I'm actually becoming a better person for myself, you know, and people are seeing it. People are telling me, you know, and I'm like so grateful for that. You know, I'm like, wow, you know, like start knowing like who you are and like figuring that out first, you know, like figure out what you want to become, who you are. And then once you have a clear cut goal of who you are, you know, and just stick with it. You're going to go through trials. I told one of our agents yesterday, she was on the phone. I'm like, you're doing good. I was like, my first listing, it took me 200 calls, but that 201, I got it. And I was just persistent over and over and over and over and over. You know, I don't have I don't have any special things or anything like that. All I have is my voice and the phone.
So
that's it.
So BJ, I love this. So talk to me a little bit about coaching. Like you know, you and I, we talked, and I know it was a big decision because I mean, you were right there in that moment where wait a second here. I've got my young family.
Yeah.
Basically I'm a single dad.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm making a decision as to whether or not I'm going to be in coaching.
Yeah.
And obviously you've signed up. You're in the Everest coaching system. Your coach is Erin Mailer.
Yeah, she's wonderful.
You know,
I love her.
talk about your experience there. Like I still remember a statement I used to make is that people would say, "Oh no, I can't afford that."
Oh gosh.
Well, I remember I changed my language. I said, "Man, I can't afford not to do that."
Mm-hmm.
And so what is it that was kind of the tipping point for you to say, you know what, I know I need this? And then talk just a little bit about the importance of what that impact has been just in relationship to coaching. And look, guys, I'm of the opinion that whether you're coached by Everest, whether you're coached by a manager, whether you're coached by outside companies like, you know, from Tom Ferry, Mike Ferry, Buffini, and others of the like, I just know that every one of us needs to be coached. I've got 3 or 4 coaches. We can cloak them as counselors, mentors, coaches, but I know the importance. I know they know the importance, but I want to hear what's been important to you about coaching and your experience, and what was the kind of the tipping point to say, man, I got to do this, even at a pretty tough time of your life.
Oh, the tipping point for me was there's actually 2. The whole COVID thing, that like no money coming in, none. I think how I felt like how everybody else felt, didn't know what to do, but I was still driven. I'm one of those guys that I like to be on top and like struggling, you know. I mean, I remember when we talked that time when we had that talk, and I'm like, gosh, there's something has to change. And you offer the coaching, and what got in my head was, you know what, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. You know, I'm done. I'm done. And I was like, you know what, I just got to figure out a way. I'm going to figure out a way. And I'm telling you, the coaching changed my life. It changed my life. You know, I already got things going. I got things going right now. And Erin, she is so amazing. Like, I would highly, like, it doesn't even have to be with Century 21, but hire a coach, have somebody coach you. You know, I was a basketball coach for 15 years, you know, and the best advice I could honestly give somebody is, you know, get the help, you know, and the help is so much like when you feel like you're like stagnant or stuck, they're there to pick you up. They're there to help you. You know, they're there, honestly, they're there for you to be accountable to, you know, because I talk to agents, you know, they're like, oh, I got to talk to my coach, or I better have this. And it's like, well, you know, they're making you accountable. You know, if you want something in life, hold yourself, like, because a lot of times we don't hold each other accountable too much. You know, I do it sometimes, like we all do it. But when
Well,
you have somebody
I've
that's
always
looking up
thought,
to you,
BJ, I've always thought that you've talked about what you want. I've always thought that the insurance policy
mm-hmm.
to guaranteeing my dreams come true
Oh yeah.
It's been one of the best insurance policies I've ever seen is coaching.
Oh yeah. Oh no. I can't even put into words. I seriously cannot even put into words. The coaching literally changed my life. You know, if it wasn't for coaching, you know, I'll still be doing the calls, but like coaching took me to another level. You know,
So
like
now you've got Lewis, you've got Armani, you've got
oh
Helene, you've got
yes,
John around you, you've obviously got me,
yeah,
you've got Aaron Mailer. So you've put
mm-hmm,
this infrastructure of people around you.
yeah,
I mean, it's. I have to tell you, it's going to be pretty hard to fail.
oh
I mean,
yeah,
you'd have to. My thing is, you'd have to work pretty darn hard to fail based on who
yeah,
you put around you, and then of course the people you've mentioned, the Jesuses and others that are
mm-hmm,
surrounding you inside your office. It'd be
exactly.
pretty hard to fail.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. And again, I surround myself with like great people, like Dolores, you know, Caroline, like Jesus, like oh gosh, Lewis,
Awesome.
he's amazing. Like he is tremendously like my coach and Lewis, like they want you to succeed. You know, like that's the thing that I'm getting. It's like, you know, they actually want you to succeed. And you know, certain people, they don't, I guess they haven't figured out who they are, you know, so they don't want to go and try, but they're there to help, you know, and Lewis could tell you, like Helene could tell you, like if I have a problem or if I'm going through a situation, I'm calling them and they're always there. They're always there, you know. Like right now, like I held myself to a high standard of accountability. Like I check in with John, I check in with Luis every single morning. Every single morning, I take a picture. I'm in the office. This is what I'm doing. Report my numbers every
Awesome,
single
dude. I
time.
love it.
You
All right,
know?
man. I didn't realize we are. I didn't. This has gone so fast. I'm looking over here at my clock. I didn't realize we're out of time. All right, do this for me. Give us
Yeah.
your last words of counsel. Your final thoughts. Like, if you could tell the world anything, what do you want them to know? What should we hear from you?
I would say if you have a dream and you have goals that you want to hit, don't give up. That's what I was. Don't give up. You know, go after what you want, stick to the path. There's going to be distractions. There's going to be tons of distractions. But if you stick to your path, you will get there. Enjoy the journey, you know, rather than the end
Yeah,
goal. That's what I would say.
yeah. Don't change the goal. Just change the approach. Don't
Exactly.
waver from that goal, man. That's what I'm
Exactly.
hearing, man.
Yeah,
And as you are, you're changing some of your approaches, but you have not wavered from your destination.
exactly.
Isn't that
Yeah,
great?
yeah.
Awesome, dude. Thank you so much, BJ. I miss you, man, and hope I'll see you very, very soon. But
All
thank you
right.
for
Thanks,
spending
man.
time with
Appreciate
us,
it.
making a difference in the lives of the agents. And of course, this will be recorded, BJ, and you'll be able to go back. Make sure you go up to the chat box. There's tons
Yeah.
of messages up there, and of course, people thanking you and your inspiration to many of us. So thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. Okay, let's do some affirmations.